Hey guys, welcome to the shop. I've been using the Maxjax now for 5 years, so stay tuned as I share my thoughts and experiences with you in the long-term Maxjax review. So guys, there's plenty of videos about the Maxjax on YouTube right now, so why should you take the time to watch this one? Well, quite simply, it's because I've got 5 years of serious enthusiast experience with the product. I've torn the entire drivetrain out of the C5 Corvette from the transmission all the way back, including the rear axle. We've done a front-wheel drive transmission removal replacement. Recently we got a Tahoe, checked all the fluids, had to remove and replace the transfer case, countless brake jobs and oil changes. So essentially I've got all the real-world experience to help you decide if it's the right product for your garage. Right now, the Maxjax is in what I would call the storage position. This can be easily accomplished by unbolting one of the columns and sliding it into a corner or next to a wall. This is one of the neat features that allows you to have your garage back. I'm going to go ahead and do a time lapse as I set it up into operational shape just to see how long it actually takes. Just over 5 minutes, not too bad. One of the reasons I went with Maxjax is because it's engineered and designed by Danmar out of good old California, USA. But of course, it's made in China. Oh, and don't do anything really stupid. Now that we've got the Maxjax ready to go, let's go ahead and throw the C5 up onto the lift. The C5 is a little bit different because it's so low to the ground. We'll actually need a couple of 2x6s to get that extra 1.5 inch clearance that we'll need to get the arms underneath the car's rocker panels. So no matter what vehicle you bring in, you're going to want to make sure the car's body is centered between the towers, and that'll distribute the weight equally from left to right. This is the arm for the Maxjax. So these extend out. That's one adjustment you have. And then in the normal configuration, you've got the lifting pad. And that just goes in this hole. And for most vehicles, you put that underneath the frame or whatnot, and you're good to go. Now, if you have a truck, or if you're going to be doing some extensive work, and you want to get a little higher up in the air, there's a 3-inch extension that goes in here. Good heavy-duty steel, fits nice and snug. And that gets it a little higher up into the air for you. Now, again, the Corvette's a little bit unique since it's so low to the ground. We'll be using these hockey pucks, one on each arm, and that'll contact the frame rail, which is right underneath the rocker arm on the Corvette. Okay, underneath the car here, you can see how we've got the arm underneath the frame of the Corvette. The Corvette is now centered between the posts. We've got the arms underneath the driver's side. And over here on the passenger side, we also have the arms underneath, and we've got it centered from front to back as well. So let's look at the controls over here. Controls are pretty simple. We've got this button here to make it go up. And when we're all done, this one here makes it go down. Now guys, I sped that up because it took 1.5 minutes. You can wire the control unit with 220, and that'll drop the time, I guess, closer to 45 seconds. I just haven't gotten to that yet. So once you get the car up in the air, you want to take the safety pin and insert it down here, right underneath, and then we'll go to the other side. We're going to do the same thing over here. and then we slowly lower the vehicle. And that way, you've got all the weight of the vehicle on the safety pins instead of continuing to have pressure on the hydraulic hoses. So guys, when I first got the Maxjax, one of the things I was worried about is if it'd be tall enough so I could work on it comfortably. And what I found is I've got this office chair, I've got it as low as it'll go and it's leaned back and it's super comfortable. You can rest your head. I worked in automotive repair shops in high school and college, and standing up with your neck tilted way back so you can work on what you're working on is much less comfortable than chilling on the office chair. But as you can see, you can get all over the place, change the oil, check the exhaust, all kinds of maneuverability. I'm 6'1", and I don't even have the 3-inch spacers in. So if you're a little taller, or if you're going to do a major job and you wanted the car up just a little bit more, the 3-inch spacers give you that much extra room to work. So the height is absolutely perfect. Guys, here's another way that the 2-post lift really shines. By the way that it supports the vehicle, that allows, I'm going to crawl underneath here, that allows you total access to the engine, to the transmission, to the rear differential. It allows you to be able to remove any of these items where access from underneath the car is needed. And another thing too, maybe someday you want to change lifts or move or whatever and you want to sell your lift. A 2-post lift is going to be worth a lot more, in my opinion, than a quick lift that has very limited abilities to work on the car when you lift it in the air. So guys, let's do a couple measurements. So the measurement from the inside of the plate of that tower to the inside of the plate for this tower is 104 inches. If I had it to do over again, would I would do it the same distance. It's wider for the Corvette because the frame rails again are underneath the rockers. Actually, you can move it in a little closer between towers if you don't have a Corvette, because a lot of vehicles you've got to reach underneath further. What is this plate right here for? Well, my concrete was just a teeny bit unlevel here, so this is just simply a shim that I've got in order to make sure that the tower itself is level. Here's another number for you. With just the hockey puck and no 3-inch extension, the Corvette is about 46 1/4 inches off the ground. You could add 3 inches plus if you had a vehicle and you added the extension and the regular pads, you might add about 4 inches total to that number. From the top of the Corvette, with just the puck in and no extension, we are at about 7 feet 5 inches. With the Tahoe loaded up on the Maxjax, we are at 9 feet 5 inches to the top. As far as positioning for the Maxjax, I'd offer up a couple of things. This shop is 24 by 32, and I would suggest that if you can, I would slide it next to one wall, but be mindful of the track for if you have a garage door like this. I still am able to get a Tahoe up here without the roof of the Tahoe hitting the track. However, with the Tahoe in here, I cannot open the garage door up, but with the Corvette, I can. And then from front to back, I've got it situated towards the back of the garage with more room in the front. And that way, I've got room to work where you do most of your work in the front of the cars typically. And if you need to do a lot of work on the back of a vehicle, you can just back it in. And if you've got a gigantic shop, then put it wherever you want. All right, guys. I've taken the liberty of putting together a short list of questions that a potential Maxjax buyer should ask. Now, is the Maxjax durable? Absolutely, positively. In fact, I've got a little demonstration that I'm going to put together here. I'm going to take just one of the arms of the Maxjax and throw it on the scale, and I think you'll be surprised at how much this beast of a chunk of steel weighs. All right, guys, here it goes. $52 pounds. That's pretty impressive. Question number 2. Is there anything about the Maxjax that I don't like? Well, I had to think long and hard about this. There's 2 things that I don't like about it. They're both pretty minor. Number 1, it is pretty slow on 110 volts raising the car. I timed it before and I think it was a full minute and a half. Part of that's on me because I could wire it to 220. If anybody knows for sure how much faster it is on 220, if you could put it in the comments, I'd really like to hear it, because if it is a lot faster, I might actually spend the time and do the wiring. Second thing is, Maxjax should provide some sort of foam padding that attaches to the driver's side tower. That way when you're opening up the door, there's no chance of doing any damage to your paint. Question number 3, how much does a Maxjax cost? As of January of 2020, a Maxjax sells for about $19.99 at Home Depot and at Northern Tool. So it's not cheap, but in this case, I think you get what you pay for. And besides, a 2-post lift is probably not the place where you want to try to cheap out, because at the end of the day, your life kind of depends on it. Next question is, if I had it to do over again, would I make the same decision and purchase a Maxjax? And the answer is no. I'd go back probably a few years earlier than that and buy the Maxjax, because it's one of the best tools I've got in my shop. Here's a twofer question. Question A, am I a Maxjax fanboy? Yeah, I am. Question 2, has Maxjax paid me anything to say nice things about them? Sadly, they haven't. But if they want to send me some accessories, I'd be more than happy to give them an honest review. So guys, what I think it kind of boils down to is this. If you're the kind of person that likes to do all of your own work on your vehicles, including some of the heavier things like a transmission swap, engine swaps, things like that, then I would strongly encourage you to get yourself a Maxjax. If you just like to do the occasional brake job and oil change, then it might be a little overkill for what you need. Guys, thanks for watching this video. I would appreciate it if you'd hit that thumbs up button below. And if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching.